Is it a standalone building or is it in a shopping mall? Do you own the property or are you just leasing it?
It's in a shopping mall. And don't own the property. I'm leasing the laundromat space.
How big is the shopping center? Do you know roughly? I mean, is it one of these huge monsters or is it just a little like 10,000 square foot place? Or
Yeah, I would say about 10,000 square foot. It's Abita Springs is pretty small and it fits right in.
And when you were looking at buying the store, did you do demographic reports and things like that? Or did you just kind of look at the P&L and say, hey, the place is making money? You know, if it's turnkey, I mean, I'm guessing you paid kind of a multiple of the net operating income or something like that?
Yeah, so I looked at a combination. I knew that over time, they would be building a subdivision right across the street. And that's just an easy access point right there. And then there are different apartments that are upcoming right now. So this area is growing and it's growing at a rapid rate. And I did know that going into the laundromat ownership.
Nice. Were there a lot of other competitors in the area or is this kind of a smaller town?
There's a few competitors in little small towns over, but it's so close together. It's like 10 minutes away. But the thing that sets apart our operation, which is very small in my opinion, is just keeping it clean. I didn't realize that it would be something as simple as keeping it clean would be what keeps somebody going from that laundromat to this laundromat. Yeah. So keeping it clean, making sure the equipment is up and running as it should be, and having an accessible line, like having somebody able to answer the phones and helping customers. They really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing. I always call that the floor for our industry. I always say anybody that operating, without a clean laundromat, without, friendly customer service, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I'm not saying you can't exist and be out in the world, but you're probably not going to thrive and be very successful. So that's like the floor. But the reality is, in a competitive analysis, if you have 3 other competitors and none of them are even meeting that floor, you just meet the floor. Right?
Yeah, people drive past other locations.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we like having a low bar. That's a good thing because then we can
right.
overshoot it by a lot. I'm going to ask you a few questions around the purchase price and things like that. What did the business generate as far as net operating income, and what did you pay a certain multiple of that, and any information you want to share? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are buying and a lot of people that are selling. And the general rule of thumb is, stores sell anywhere from 3 to 5, 6x of NOI. But the truth is, you talk to enough people, which we do, and you find out that there's people out there selling for 7 and 8x of NOI sometimes, depending on the right scenario. So I always like to get kind of the real authentic story right from the owner's mouth.
Absolutely. So the laundromat was purchased for $50,000. That seems like it is a great amount, but the profit and loss, everything added up to where just at that time they were just doing a self-service. So I saw the potential for growth, and the self-service itself was paying all the bills. So if I wanted to exceed, then I knew I had to come in and add drop-off services, add pickup and delivery, commercial, government. I knew things had to be added, but knowing that by itself, it could sustain itself was enough for me to, and the price, I'm like, I didn't expect him to say that price. It just made sense.
Was the business making $50,000 or is that what he sold it for?
That's what he sold it for. It was just breaking even. Okay. So for him, it was, in my case, since I had the bank loan, it was breaking even. But in his case, he was profiting.